Hi, friends. It's Rebecca Stewart with Cheering Past Challenges. Today, I'm going to be talking about what a psych hospital is like. Have you ever been in a psych hospital? Is it really like a prison? I'm here to tell you a few surprising facts about psych hospitals and what you can expect if you're going to go to one for the first time. Hello and welcome. The first thing you need to know is that I have been to 5 different psych hospitals, including 2 state hospitals. A state medical or mental hospital is different from a small, like, psych unit that you would find at your local hospital. Typically, state hospitals have been around forever. They're larger and typically older buildings. Whereas if you are admitted into your local clinic and an inpatient psych unit, it will be much newer usually. So, regardless of if it's an old building or a new building or a privately run facility versus a state run facility, there are some commonalities, and that's what I'm going to be discussing today. So, first and foremost, what you need to keep in mind is that when you hear the negativity behind them, that they are like prisons, it's really just to keep the patient safe. So, whenever before I go into a hospital, into a psych hospital, I know that that is what they're really doing is keeping my mom safe. But what you need to know is that you're going to be incredibly uncomfortable once you get there. So when you sign in, you're going to have to do lots of things like give them your name, maybe even your ID. Different hospitals have different check ins, but not anybody can just walk into a psych hospital, obviously. So they want to know more about you. And even some psych hospitals will have like specialized visiting times. One thing you can expect is patients to come out and say bizarre things to you. People that you've never seen before because they are not in their right state of minds. They might come up and ask you questions, or they might say over and over again, "Get me out of here, get me out of here." And so the first time this happened, it really freaked me out. But now that I've been there for my mom and I've had this happen before, it's usually staff will take care of it. So one thing you'll see once you enter into the psych hospital is that there's always a front desk nearby. Usually, if you are a guardian or a power of attorney, you'll have to sign in and sign some paperwork for them, go over a medication list, things like that. If they have any questions, they'll ask you at this point, but that's usually the first line of contact. And then from there, there'll be a main living space where all of the patients will be able to hang out, watch movies, play games, play cards, that kind of thing. Sometimes a lot of them are medicated, so they're sleepy. They might be sleeping on a couch, or you might see them in their own rooms and not in the main living space. And that's all very normal. In most cases, you will have your own bedroom and bathroom. There are some occasions and some state mental wards that I've been in where they make you share a room. That was kind of a thing of the past. I would say more of the 90s, where my mom would have to share a room with another woman. Okay, so when you're inside a psych hospital, you might witness unsettling things. One time I actually witnessed my mom smack another patient. It was pretty uncomfortable because I wanted to step in and be like, "Mom, what are you doing?" That can be upsetting. Another upsetting thing is just seeing individuals at all ages that are struggling mentally. For me, I just am naturally a compassionate person. So, seeing this, I would have to remind myself, like, you're here for your mom, you're safe, it's okay. But I'm not going to lie, after coming home from a psych hospital visit, I would tend to think about the other women in there. And typically, men and women are separated, although I have been to some where they're mixed. But I think depending on the size, the genders are separated. And so I would typically meet other women that were struggling. And I mean, this has happened since I was little because I mean, the first time I stepped foot in a psych hospital, I was probably 7 years old. That'll be another video. One myth is that the old state run hospitals are worse than the newer, smaller hospitals. And that's just false. It's not true. Actually, what I've found in my experience is that the older state run mental wards are much accurate and better and quicker at getting my mom back to normalcy. The reason why my mom is even there is usually because at a local level. She wasn't able to get her meds adjusted properly. Typically, a doctor or somebody would make the recommendation for her to go to Mendota. In Wisconsin, it's either Mendota or Winnebago. And so she would be transferred there. And I've even seen it as her getting back to normal within a week at Mendota. Mendota has an amazing geriatric unit. I have to say that the staff is par to none. The nursing staff is extremely skilled. The doctors are amazing. And like I said, I've seen my mom have a turnaround in 7 days. Sometimes it takes months. And so, that's one thing you have to prepare for is that your loved one may be there for months. The worst case scenario is a year or longer enrollment. It's really rare, but it has happened for my mom. My mom has a pretty extreme brain disease that is, she has schizophrenia and also separate from that, a brain disease that hasn't been diagnosed, but she has other, we'll just say she has a severe case of schizophrenia. So thanks for listening. I hope that this talk helped you to understand what you're going to see when you enter a psych hospital. It's kind of scary. You see a lot of things in the movies, but really all in all, it's a safe environment for you or your loved one to rehab and get back to mental wellness.